I'd just finished my shift at the diner. Late night, quiet crowd, the usual. My feet hurt, my apron smelled like grease and coffee, and all I wanted was to get home and crash. The drive back was the same stretch of back road I'd taken 1,000 times, winding through patches of dark woods, past empty fields, no streetlights for long stretches. It had been raining for hours, the kind that turns every road into a black mirror. I was humming under my breath, trying to stay awake, when I saw him. Just a figure, standing on the shoulder, perfectly still. No car nearby, no breakdown flare, nothing. Just a man in the rain, soaked through, arms at his sides. I slowed down without thinking. Maybe he'd wrecked, maybe he was hurt. I cracked the window an inch. "Hey, you okay?" He turned his head slowly. Lightning flashed and lit his face for half a second. Pale skin, dark stubble, eyes locked right on mine. He didn't wave or shout back, just started walking toward my car. Something in my stomach twisted, but I still thought maybe he was in shock. I hit the unlock button. "Get in, it's freezing out there." He slid inside without a word. Water poured off him onto the seat. Up close, he looked worse. Thin shirt clinging to his chest, no jacket, skin ghostly under the dashboard glow. He smelled like wet earth and something metallic. "Thanks," he muttered. I pulled back on the road. "Where are you headed? Next town's about 10 miles. He didn't answer, just stared straight ahead, water dripping from his hair. The silence grew thick. Minutes passed. "So, car breakdown?" I tried again. "Something like that," he said. Then, quieter, "You shouldn't have stopped." My hands tightened on the wheel. "What?" He turned his head slowly. That smile, small, tight, wrong. "Now I'm here." I laughed once, nervous. "Okay, that's not funny." He didn't laugh, just kept watching me. I pressed the gas harder. My heart was hammering. "Pull over," he said suddenly. Not a request, an order. "No." I reached for my phone in the cup holder. His hand shot out, fast, too fast, clamping around my wrist. His fingers were ice cold. "Don't." I yanked back hard. The car swerved, tires screaming. I slammed the brakes. We skidded sideways, stopping inches from the ditch. "Get out," I said, voice shaking. "Now." He tilted his head. "You invited me in." I threw the door open and ran into the storm. Cold rain hit me like a slap. I ran toward the tree line, slipping in the mud. Behind me, the passenger door slammed. Footsteps, heavy, splashing. I glanced back once. Lightning cracked, and there he was, already halfway across the road, moving faster than he should have been able to. Not running, just walking, but closing the gap. I plunged into the woods. Branches clawed at my face. Roots grabbed my ankles. My lungs burned. Every time I looked back, he was closer, silhouetted against the flashing sky, eyes catching the light. How was he gaining? I was sprinting, yet his steps never sped up. They just kept coming. I ducked behind a thick trunk, trying to quiet my breathing. Rain poured down my face. I listened. Nothing but the storm. Then, crunch, a branch snapping. Amanda. My name in his mouth felt like a violation. I hadn't told him my name. He stepped around a tree 20 feet away, head cocked. That smile again. "You can't run forever." I bolted. Thorns tore at my arms. I could hear him behind me, steady, relentless. Lightning again. He was 10 feet back. His hand reached out, fingers brushing my jacket. I screamed, dodged left, tripped over a root, hit the ground hard. I scrambled up. Ahead, lights, a house. I ran harder than I'd ever run in my life. His breath was close now, right behind my ear. Fingers grazed my hair. I burst onto a gravel driveway and pounded on the door. "Help, please!" An older woman opened it, wide-eyed. "What in God's name? There's a man chasing me. He's right behind." She pulled me inside, slammed the door, locked it. She was already on the phone.
Yes, police! Someone's after her! I stumbled to the window. The driveway was empty, the woods dark, no figure, just rain. But I could still feel his fingers on my hair.
The police arrived 20 minutes later. They took my statement while the woman made tea I couldn't drink. I told them everything. The man on the road, the threat, the chase. One officer went outside with a flashlight, came back 10 minutes later, rain dripping from his hat. "No footprints in the mud leading to the house," he said. "None at all, just yours, and your car is still on the road, doors open, engine running, no sign anyone else was in it." I felt the floor tilt. "That's impossible. He was right behind me. Look," I pulled up my sleeve, red welts from his fingers, already bruising. The officer frowned. "We'll check again at first light. Storm's too bad now." They drove me home. I locked every door, every window, turned on every light, sat on the couch with a kitchen knife in my lap, still shaking. Around 3 a.m., the power went out. Darkness swallowed everything. I froze, listening. Then a soft knock, not on the front door, on the bedroom window. Slow, deliberate. 3 knocks, pause, 3 more. I crept to the hallway, knife trembling in my hand. Then I heard it, low, almost lost in the storm. "Amanda," right outside the glass. The knocking stopped, then the faintest scrape, like fingernails dragging down the pane. The power came back on 10 minutes later. I forced myself to the window. Nothing, no one, just rain streaking a glass and a single perfect handprint pressed into the condensation on the outside, fingers splayed wide. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. Every time it rains now, I check the windows, every single one, because sometimes when the storm is loud enough, I still hear that low voice on the wind, and I know he's still out there, waiting for me to stop again. Story 2. I'd been living alone in this small apartment on the edge of town for about 6 months when this happened. The kind of place where your nearest neighbor is far enough away that you really notice it on nights like that one. It had been raining for hours, not regular rain, the kind that sounds like it's pounding to get inside. I was on the couch scrolling through my phone, trying to ignore it, when I heard the tapping. Faint at first, but steady enough to pull my attention. Tap, tap, tap. I figured it was branches hitting the window, but it kept going. I got up and went to the living room, pulled back the curtain just enough to look out. Lightning flashed. There was a man standing in the middle of the street, directly in front of my house, soaked through, no coat, no umbrella, just staring up at my window. My first thought was maybe he was lost or hurt, but he wasn't moving, not shivering, not looking around, just standing there in the rain, staring. I stepped back and waited a few seconds, then looked again. Still there, same spot. That's when the unease hit. I went to the front door and flipped on the porch light. The glow barely cut through the downpour, but I could still see him. Hadn't moved an inch. I reached for the doorknob, not to open it, just to, see if he'd react. The second my hand touched it, he moved. He didn't walk, didn't run. He just closed the distance. One moment he was 50 feet away in the street, the next he was on my porch. 2 seconds, maybe less. I slammed the deadbolt and backed away, heart hammering, grabbed a kitchen chair and wedged it under the handle. "Who are you?" I shouted. "What do you want?" No answer. Then the pounding started. Fists against the door, hard, rhythmic. The whole frame shook, wood groaning under the impact. I thought it was going to splinter. I ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife. My hands were shaking. I was alone, neighbors too far to hear, and this guy was trying to break in. I called 911, whispering my address into the phone, begging them to hurry. The pounding stopped.
Silence for a few seconds. Then scratching. Slow, deliberate. Fingernails dragging down the door, worse than the pounding, like he had all the time in the world. I could hear him breathing, heavy, ragged breaths right on the other side. Over the storm, over everything, I could hear it. The dispatcher said officers were coming to stay on the line. I pressed against the far kitchen wall and stared at that door, praying the chair would hold. Sirens finally cut through the rain. The scratching stopped instantly. I went to the window. He was gone. Porch empty, yard empty. Just rain and darkness. The police arrived minutes later, 2 officers, flashlights sweeping. They checked everything, the perimeter, doors, windows. One came back shaking his head. No sign of forced entry, no footprints in the mud. You sure someone was out here? I showed him the door. Faint scratches, barely visible. He said they could have been from debris in the storm. His tone said he didn't believe me. They did another sweep, promised a patrol car would drive by. Then they left. I didn't sleep, pulled the couch in front of the door, kept every light on, knife next to me. Every creak made me jump, every gust of wind sounded like him. Around 4 a.m., I heard it. My name. Quiet. Calm. Like someone standing just outside, saying it through the door. I looked out the window. Nothing. Just rain. Then again. Closer. Right outside. I sat frozen on the couch, knife gripped in both hands, waiting for sunrise. When morning came, I went outside. The rain had stopped, mud everywhere, but no footprints, not a single one near my house, just smooth, churned-up mess. I moved out 2 weeks later, told my landlord I got a job offer in another city. That wasn't true. I just couldn't stay there. Every time it rains hard now, I think about that night. How fast he moved, the scratching, how the police found nothing, and my name in the darkness, said by someone who shouldn't have known it.